Well, good afternoon. Welcome to Wood Chip Woodworking. Today we're going to be outside and we're going to do a casting here. This is of some potato chip wrappers that I done. Put in some clear resin. We're going to turn this outside today, make a big mess out here. So let's do a little housekeeping, and that would consist of please feel free to share, subscribe, like, share my videos, comments, leave them below. Let me know what you think of this video, what this project's going to be. I think it's going to be a fun project today, and we're outside enjoying the sunshine. It's not raining, so that's a good thing. So, you know, as I said, feel free to share, subscribe, like, leave some comments below, and let's get started on today's project. So today, first thing we got to do is we got to cut this off. So I got my Sawzall here, and we're going to try to whack that off the top. So hang tight, I'll get my Sawzall out and we'll cut that. Alright, so we're going to try to cut that off, make it square, and go from there. There we are. So we got her cut off, so hang tight and we'll get back to her. Alright, so we got her cut. We're going to set her between centers. This is going to be my top of my bowl, so I got to turn this around. Tailstock out of the way, headstock. Not quite centered. I'm looking at is this edge and see where it's at. I think that's pretty good. Yeah, we'll go with it. All right, tighten her up. I'm actually going to move it over. That's actually a little better. So okay, my headstock is moving a little bit. I need to tighten it up. That's better. All right. What we're going to do is kind of turn this around, get somewhat of a foot down here so we can reverse it. So, and I got a bull gouge that we're going to use to do it. Face shield, gloves, mask, all the good stuff. We got to put that on, and let's get started. So let me get that on, and then we'll get started. All right, the reason I'm wearing my dust mask is this is going to be kind of dusty and nasty, and we want to make sure that we're protected pretty well. So we're going to start it out fairly slow. Here we go. As you can see, it's taking a little bit to do it. So, not sure how this is going to work, but let's see what happens. And some of the wrappers, you know, we're going to see. Never done one of these, so this will be interesting. Just got to continue to work it. And it's coming. So I'm going to continue to do this. It's going to take a while. And let's see what happens when I get back to it. So hang tight. Alright, so I got my tenon cut, which was a challenge in itself. So let's flip it around and see what, make sure we can grab a hold of it. And we'll figure out what we got here. So this ought to be interesting because I don't know if it's the most stable thing I've ever cut, but we're going to see what we can get into. So took my drive out. I'm hoping my tenon's small enough that I can get my jaws on it, but I'm not so positive on that one. Nope. So I'm gonna have to grab my other set of jaws to put on it. So give me a second to go get them, and I'll be right back. So I'll go get them and I'll be right back. Hang tight. Alright, well, we reversed it around and got it up in place. Now comes the fun part of seeing what we can come out of this thing. So I'm going to try to get a general shape on the outside and see what we can come up with. You know? Try to push it up against my chuck just a little bit more. Just wish I had more of a square in there because I can see daylight between it. So I might fix that because that's going to create me a problem if I don't. So I guess this is a learning experience for everybody. So what I'm looking at is, if you look between this here and the actual piece, there's a little bit of a gap right in here. And I need to square that up just a hair more to fit this in there. So that's what I got to work on. So hang tight and let me reverse it back around and we'll get her straight. All right, as you can tell, I got that part of it done, and looks better. So let's put it in the chuck and see how she fits. Oh, that fits a lot better. Sometimes you got to listen to that little inner voice to prevent a catastrophe from happening otherwise. Oh yeah, that's better. Yeah. I'll run my tailstock up to it for added support. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, she's running pretty good. All right. So we're going to continue with the outside edge. Start out here and go back and see what we can clean up and see what we can do. So here we go. Alrighty. All right, we do have some issues with it. Some of the wrappers just didn't quite get resin on, and we're going to continue on and see what we can come up with. So hang tight and let's see what we can do. I'll be back. So I'll show you a few more cuts on this, and then we'll figure out what we got from there. I'm going to bring you around the other side so you can see there too. All right. You can see it's starting to take some shape. I'm just taking real fine cuts. Can't be real aggressive with this. Alright, I'm going to get you out of the way. Alright, we're going to try to do some of the center. This is going to end up being a two-part video, because I can tell, because I'm going to have to go back and recast some of the spots that fell out and get them in there, but we'll figure it out. I'm not sure how we're going to do that, but we'll figure it out. And a piece just flew off. Yep. Well, I would say that I'm at a stopping point on this one, just due to the fact that I got to do some repairs on it. There's a few spots in it that the resin didn't get down in, so I'm going to have to take it and hand pour some resin in them spots to see if I can get it to go down in, sink into them, and fill some of these little cavities like that and like this. I got a piece that came off here that fits down in there, so I'm gonna recast that, clean that up, and put this in there. See if I can get that recasted in there, you know, see what happens. So I'm at a stopping point, and I'm going to see what I can do as far as cleaning that up and recasting some of them spots, refill them with resin. So till next time, hopefully you enjoyed this video. It was a learning process for me. Thought I did pretty well as far as getting the chip wrappers down in there and getting them in the resin, but for whatever reason it just didn't quite work the way I planned, which is power for the course. So anyway, feel free to share, subscribe, like. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Learned a lot. Let's see what happens on the next one. So hang tight. We'll to the next one, part 2.